Imagine a place where you've got towering mountain peaks, layers upon layers of ancient empires, and a vibrant population over 200 million strong. Welcome to This Explainer, everyone. Today we're diving deep into Pakistan. It's a country with an incredibly complex, deep history, breathtakingly diverse landscapes, and wonderfully resilient people. We're going to unpack the history, geography, and culture of a nation that has, quite literally, shaped the modern world, especially its home region of South Asia. Okay, let's dive into this. We're taking a macro to micro journey today. First, we'll look at the land and its people, then explore a rich culinary tapestry, travel back to the crossroads of ancient empires, examine the scars of partition, and finally, look at the modern Pakistani state. Part 1. The land and its people. So, when you look at this massive 340,000 square mile nation, you'll see Pakistan sits right at the heart of South Asia. It shares borders with Iran, Afghanistan, China, and India, and opens right up to the Arabian Sea. The geography here is basically divided into three major regions. Up top, you've got the magnificent Northern Highlands. I mean, we are talking about some of the world's absolute highest peaks here, including K2, the second highest mountain on Earth. Then, flowing right down the center is the Indus River Plain. This is the fertile heartland where the vast majority of the people actually live. And finally, over in the southwest, we have the Balochistan Plateau, which is known for its really rugged, barren terrain. Tying all this together is the vital Indus River system. It starts way up in Tibet, runs the entire length of the country, and empties into the sea near Karachi. Oh, and nestled right in the foothills of those towering northern highlands, that's where you'll find the capital city, Islamabad. Now, what's really interesting is the deep, deep connection between the people, their provinces, and their languages. While English is used officially and Urdu is the great unifying national language, the people themselves are incredibly diverse. For instance, Punjabis make up about half the population. They're rooted in the Punjab province, and they speak Punjabi. Down in the southeast, the Sindhis inhabit the Sindh province. Along the Afghan border, you've got the Pashtuns speaking Pashto. And in the southwest Balochistan province, the Balochis speak Balochi. It's like a giant puzzle where regional identity is just incredibly strong. And all of that diverse tapestry weaves together a massive population of over 200 million people. To put that into perspective, Pakistan is the fifth most populous country on the entire planet. Naturally, religion heavily shapes the identity and culture here. The vast majority of these folks are Muslims, mostly following the Sunni branch, alongside a 15 to 20% Shia minority. But you'll also find smaller, yet deeply rooted communities of Christians, Hindus, and others who really contribute to this vibrant cultural fabric. Moving on to part 2, a rich culinary tapestry. So because of all that incredible diversity we were just talking about, Pakistani food is this brilliant, mouth-watering blend of Middle Eastern, Central Asian, and Indian influences, but it totally keeps its own unique identity. First up, we've got the chapli kebab. Just imagine minced beef or lamb perfectly mixed with onions, tomatoes, eggs, and spices, and then fried up until the outside is perfectly crispy. These originated from the Pashtun regions along the Afghan border, and let me tell you, their juicy texture and zesty flavor make them an absolute favorite for sure, whether you're having them as an appetizer or the main event. Now, if you're looking for a quick bite, look no further than the iconic samosa. This is a savory, crispy fried pastry made of really thin dough. Inside, it's just stuffed to the brim with spiced potatoes, lentils, ground beef, or chicken. And what gives it that unmistakable kick are the spices, right? Cumin, coriander, chili, garlic. These are traditionally served piping hot, right alongside some delicious, tangy chutney dipping sauces. It's so good. But hey, if you want something richer, there's chicken karahi. This is a wonderfully thick, intensely aromatic curry. The chicken is simmered in this rich tomato-based sauce with onions, garlic, ginger, and aromatic spices like garam masala. It actually gets its name from the wok-like pan it's cooked in, which is called a karahi. The resulting aromatic gravy is practically begging to be scooped up with some warm naan bread or a bed of rice. And to wrap up our culinary tour, we definitely can't forget breakfast. Parathas are a super popular flatbread made by layering and cooking flaky dough with rich ghee or oil. You can eat them plain, stuff them with various fillings, or use them to perfectly sop up those spicy curries and chutneys we just talked about. But, this rich, deeply flavorful culture didn't just appear overnight. It was forged over thousands of years. Which brings us to part 3, Crossroads of Ancient Empires. And this brilliantly illustrates how Pakistan isn't just a modern state. Because of its geography, this exact piece of land has hosted major empires for millennia. Just picture it. Going way back to 3300 BCE, this land was home to the Indus Valley Civilization, which featured massive, highly advanced ancient cities like Mohenjo-daro and Harappa. Being a literal geographic crossroads, Persian, Greek, Mongol, and Afghan armies all swept right across these plains over the centuries. Then, in 712 CE, the Umayyad Empire arrived, bringing Islam to the region. Fast forward a bit to the 16th century, and this area became the heartland of the mighty Mughal Empire, a dynasty that blended Islamic, Persian, and Indian influences to build grand monuments like the Lahore Fort and the Taj Mahal. But as Mughal power eventually started to decline, British influence crept in, leading the British East India Company to seize full control of the subcontinent by the mid-19th century. Part 4. The Scars of Partition. The end of British rule in the 20th century didn't bring simple peace. It brought an absolute geopolitical earthquake. As the calls for Indian independence grew really loud in the early 1900s, the largely Hindu Indian National Congress demanded self-rule. But this caused a lot of hesitation among Muslims in the region. They were highly cautious, fearing they'd become a marginalized minority under Hindu rule. So to address this, in 1940, the Muslim League, under Muhammad Ali Jinnah, proposed a separate Muslim homeland. When Britain finally withdrew in 1947, they hastily partitioned British India into a Hindu-majority India and a Muslim-majority Pakistan. This chaotic division resulted in an immense, unimaginable tragedy. Over 1 million lives were lost. Millions upon millions of people were violently uprooted from the only homes they'd ever known. Hindus and Sikhs fled westward, while Muslims fled eastward, desperately trying to reach their respective new nations amidst horrific bloodshed and conflict. That divergence set two completely different trajectories for these newly formed nations. While India pursued a secular democracy after independence, Pakistan, born amidst all this bloodshed, emerged as a haven for South Asian Muslims. Its journey has involved trying to define its Islamic identity while swinging back and forth between civilian democracy and military rule. Pakistan faced the incredibly daunting challenge of resettling millions of refugees right from day one. And later, in 1971, it saw East Pakistan break away after a devastating war to form the modern nation of Bangladesh. Part 5. The Modern Pakistani State. Let's move to the present day and see how this all builds into the geopolitical and economic realities Pakistan faces in the 21st century. Pakistan's economy has really been a story of distinct eras. Early on, it relied heavily on agriculture and vast irrigation systems. Then, in the 1960s, a wave of nationalization and socialist-inspired reforms resulted in sluggish growth that became super dependent on foreign aid. But by the 90s, the country shifted gears toward privatization and free markets. This fueled a huge boom in textiles and telecom, giving rise to a growing urban middle class. Now, in the 21st century, despite political instability and energy shortages, the economy is actually being boosted by remittances from overseas Pakistanis and a massive increase in trade with China. You can really see this with major infrastructure projects like the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. Today, even with its challenges, Pakistan boasts the 24th largest GDP in the world. We're talking about a massive $348 billion. The nation is actively searching for lasting economic stability, all while fully embracing its really multifaceted national identity. But, to truly understand modern Pakistan, we have to look at its geopolitics. Ever since 1947, its foreign policy has been heavily influenced by its relationship with India. Those hastily drawn borders we talked about sparked immediate disputes over the Muslim-majority region of Kashmir, a flashpoint that is still very active today. This led to decades of rapid-fire conflicts, including wars and skirmishes in 1947, 1965, and 1971. In 1998, both India and Pakistan conducted nuclear tests, which obviously greatly heightened global fears of a wider conflict. And while there have been fitful peace initiatives over the years, they've repeatedly collapsed due to terror attacks and a deeply, deeply rooted mutual distrust. So what does this all mean? Pakistan's story is one of deep history, beautiful culture, and incredible resilience. I hope this explainer has left you with a better understanding of this fascinating nation, and maybe even the curiosity to keep learning more. Because with entirely new, shared crises looming, like the ongoing threat of terrorism and the severe impacts of global climate change affecting the entire subcontinent, we have to ask, can these unhealed wounds of partition finally give way to reconciliation and cooperation? It is a complex, difficult road ahead for these estranged neighbors, but it's one that will absolutely define the future of South Asia.